Good morning, Grigoriy. Delighted to have you with us.
Good morning. It's nice to see you again.
So we have both good and bad news, I would say, right? The recent new wave of funding for Ukraine, 61 billion from the US, 3 billion from the UK following David Cameron's visit to Kyiv. But also, there are very worrying reports from the front lines. Oleksandr Syrsky said that Ukrainian forces had withdrawn from some positions in the Donetsk region. So could you explain that situation? I mean, did the aid come too late?
Yeah, it's not too late, but it's very, very, very late because our situation in the front line for now, we have to retreat from some points. We have a lack of still we have the lack of ammunition. The Russian occupied forces still have the superiority in the air, and they still beat our forces with the guided air bombs. This famous guided air bombs that they have a lot of them, and they just vaporize the cities, vaporize the positions of Ukrainian armed forces. And yeah, of course, now we have some munitions, we have some shells, but it's still not enough. Russians occupied forces still have much more shells and artillery and superiority in the air. And because of this, and they have a lot more people, a lot more soldiers in the front line. 1 to 7. 1 Ukrainian soldiers faced 7 Russian occupiers in this region, in Donetsk regions, in some points in the front line. Because of this, we have to retreat from some points, but you have to understand, yes, we have to retreat, but we're still fighting, and we will fighting.
Right. I mean, what you've mentioned about personnel, the military personnel that is lacking in Ukraine. We have this new law, right, introduced by President Zelensky about popular mobilization, a law that has been quite controversial. And so my question is, I mean, do you think that it will actually translate into more people joining the army, or more people trying to flee Ukraine, hide, sort of decreasing morale? Because, I mean, some people clearly don't want to fight, right? And those who are fighting, some of them would like to come home, and they have no chance to do that.
Yeah, it's a very complicated problem. Not only Ukraine, in every country, it's a very complicated problem. In Second World War, in First World War, it was a very complicated problem. It's always very complicated problem for human go to the war, even when you defend your country. But as you see in the video from Kyiv, from other big cities, there is a lot of people around territorial center of completion of Ukrainian army. A lot of people going there and making that what they have to do. Yeah, they are renewing his data in the territorial completion center, etc., etc., etc. Of course, it's a very complicated problem. Of course, it's not too easy to make these decisions. Yeah, I have to go to the war. Just say it. In your European countries, in some countries all over the world, just say it in your apartments, in your chair. Well, from now, I have to go to the war. So it's not easy, but I think and I believe that this law can help Ukrainians understand what's right do they have, what they have to do, what's the difference between before this law and now, and I think it will help.
Right. So let's go back to the issue of funding. I mean, of the recent pledges to donate more money to Ukraine. But as you've rightly pointed out, money is not everything, right? You still have to have something to buy with this money. And of course, there is ammunition lacking, right? There's nothing to purchase because the stocks are empty. So what is Ukraine planning to do? How is the country planning to invest? What is it planning to buy, and how to go about it?
Invest to our manufacturing of weapon, of ammo, first of all, with the unity of the greatest weaponry companies in the world, Biosystem, Rheinmetall, and something else, and finding munition and finding the weapons. Look, when we're talking that there is no weapon in the market, it's not true. There is a anti-aircraft system on Greece. There is anti-aircraft system Patriots on Spain. There is a lot of Patriots on the United States. There is Patriot system, but Ukraine don't have it. And there is no danger for Spain in these days, in this month, in this year. But Spain don't send Patriots to Ukraine. Just think about it. And the world have munitions on the warehouses, on the store, but they don't send it because it's ours. So guys, we have war here. You don't have it because we have war in Ukraine. So we need shells right now, not in a month, not in the next years. We need it right now, and you have it. And of course, we're waiting, and we do our best with motivating Europe to rebuild the factories, rebuild the warehouses, and rebuild the weaponry in Europe. This is very, very important to make it much better, much faster.
Right. I mean, there are a few other issues I wanted to discuss with you. Yesterday, the Polish foreign minister spoke with the Ukrainian foreign minister, and I sort of wanted to talk about the Polish-Ukrainian relations in the context, of course, of the conflict, but also of Ukraine's EU aspirations. How do you see that relationship moving forward?
I think it will be very good. I think it will be very friendly, but complicated. As we see in this 6 months, there is a lot of questions between Ukraine and Poland. There is a lot of friendship. There is a lot of understanding situation. But there is a lot of problems. As between any different countries. There is no countries in this world that don't have problems such like this. Yeah, we are neighbors. We have a big history between Poland and Ukraine, and we have the history as a tragic history, as a victorious history. And this is complicated, but I think we'll find the solutions. Like we'll find the solutions in this situation with a border closing, with a border jamming.
Right. I mean, Poland recently celebrated 20 years of its joining the EU, and of course everyone said that they're hoping that Ukraine will join the Union as well, but there's a lot of issues to be worked out. However, like I said, I think the hopes are there. But another important political meeting and another important political visit, David Cameron in Kyiv, he said something quite significant. He said that Ukraine has the freedom to use British arms, the arms donated by Great Britain, on the territory of Russia. This is something that people were saying is not allowed. I mean, as recently as last year, right? Everyone was worried that if Ukraine sort of crosses that line, that it will lead to the escalation of the conflict. So, so what do you think about this? Why now? I mean,
now because we have the different situation in the front line. Now the Great Britain, now the France, and I believe as soon as possible in other countries, I don't point with my fingers to Germany, will understand that this is the big, great war. The war not only in the Ukraine, not only in the part of Ukraine, this is the war that could fire up the whole Europe. And this war have to be playing in the whole rights. Yeah, Ukraine have to beat the enemy with free hands. Yeah, you understand. And I believe that Great Britain understand it first, and I believe that France and Germany will be the next. We have to do something to defeat Russia Federation. And one of the most important point in this war, we have to have abilities to do it in the deep of the Russian territory.
Right. I mean, it seems that the sort of appeasement and containment approach that the West was tried, right, with Russia before at the beginning of the conflict is clearly not working. So perhaps it's time for more decisive steps. But this brings me back to the question of funding. Do you think that this stalemate lasted for too long? And I mean, when can we expect some sort of more significant developments, like perhaps the F-16s finally being used? You know, I'm not a military expert, but if you could sort of point to some of the key developments that we should look forward to.
Stability. This is the most important. Stability of help, stability of funding, stability of sending military equipment to Ukraine. This is the most important thing for now, as we understand, after this 6 months breakout. Stability of funding, stability of supporting, stability of sending of ammo, stability of sending of Ukraine to of weapon to Ukraine. This is the most important thing, not only for today, not only for this year, but for the next year. And because of this, the very interesting announcement made the Sir Cameron that Ukraine and Great Britain working for 100 years. 100 years deal, yeah, security deal. And this is very important, yeah. That's the right horizon for Ukraine, for Europe, for United States. This is the right horizon. 100 years of Ukrainian independence, of Ukrainian Europeity.
Right, Mr. German, just sort of one last question, and I would ask you for a short answer, but this has been on my mind. Some people are saying that, you know, admitting Ukraine to the EU could sort of replace Ukraine's ambition to join NATO, which would be much more problematic. Do you think that that this claim statement is true?
Yeah, of course, it will be much less problem with this, but it's. Ukraine have to be in European Union and in NATO, because NATO it's a power umbrella, and European Union is the home for Ukraine. This is very important to understand. There is no security without NATO. There is no stability without European Union. If Europe needs our fortress against Russian Federation, against enemy. Europe need our Ukrainian fortress. So let's make it stable and defend it.
Of course, and of course, Poland has been supporting Ukraine since the very beginning, and it continues to do so. Thank you so much for being with us this morning and for shedding more light on the issue. Thank you. Have a good day.